We'll get back to you once the election commences proper.
Thank you very much, Dominic AMC, joining us live from Yola, the Adamawa State capital. Very comprehensive report on the conduct of the election so far, even though the election at the Batna should be in full swing. Gave us details about the number of polling units and, of course, the number of presidential, I beg your pardon, governorship candidates in that state. 15 of them will be slugging it out today. And I know that in this state, Adamawa, I think one of the governorship candidates is a woman. One of the things we talked about a while ago. So let's see how she will fare in today's election. But it's quite interesting to know that security agents are fully on the ground. And earlier today, because voting will start by 8, movements were allowed between 6 and 8 just to allow people to get to their voting centers. So we'll keep tabs with Dominic much later to update us with the conduct of the election in Adamawa State. So we're back to the studio. Prof, yes.
So the beavers was, the way it works is very simple. Okay. So the beavers gave Nigerian voters the confidence that the election is going to be credible. And in view of that, they came out in massive, in droves and all that, believing that, yes, since this machine has come to correct the problem of election rigging and all that. But at the end of the day, the expectation was dashed. Okay. You know, because the beavers, the problem was not the configuration of the beavers, or it lacks some credibility, no, but the way it was operated. Because I can't see a situation whereby it worked in the National Assembly's election. Then when it came to presidential, there was network. So are we not going to say that the beavers machine had a problem? No, the idea
or it had two networks.
Or it had two networks. You know, so I mean, for God, you see, Duke, this thing may sound funny, but at the end of the day, they are killing democracy in Nigeria.
Okay, Prof, let's pause it there for today. Let's pause it there. Yes, Prof, you wanted to ask something to
that? But Prof is beginning to switch towards my side a little bit.
You think so?
Yes. Yeah. Number one, you've just mentioned something. Yeah. See, you like I remember Bishop used a concept here and said the beavers is overhyped. And I also reacted that day, and I mentioned it that when you give false information that is not credible, then you must be on arm to guide yourself continuously to sustain that argument in that line. He has used another concept that the beavers semi-automatically. See, in the electronic system, it's either is electronically or is not electronic. Yeah. That is, you manually do. Yeah. Okay? So what we have seen so far is a deviation completely from that promise that results will be electronically transmitted. If it was based on network like we have been saying, nobody has attributed it to a particular network. Nobody has attributed it to a particular network that this is why it did not work. And for those who said it worked, nobody has been able to say...
Okay, now just go on. We have one of our correspondents on the ground. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're covering.
Hello, can you hear me from the studio?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Good morning. Go ahead and talk to us.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Dominic AMC from Yola.
Okay, Dominic, we had you a while ago. Yes, just update us on where exactly you are now, what's happening. We can see live pictures already, yeah?
Okay. Yes, I'm currently at Ajia, somewhere in Yola, North, in Adamawa. That is Yola, the capital of Adamawa State, precisely at polling units at 012 and 015. Where the former vice president and presidential candidate of the People Democratic Party, PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, will be casting his vote. That's where we are at the moment, and voting has commenced in this polling unit, though we are still awaiting his arrival for him to come and cast his vote. But as it stands now, activities here at the polling unit have kicked up. So there are no problems here, no threats. As from what we are seeing, everybody is anxious to cast their vote. They say there's an improvement from what they saw in the last election in terms of arrival of material for the governorship election.
Fantastic. We're seeing a pretty scanty number of people out now. Is it because maybe voting just commenced? Would you ascribe that to the fact that voting just commenced?
Sorry, I didn't get your last comment.
I'm asking you, what's your take on the number of people at the voting centers? I mean, it's a bit scanty.
But I think the audio from that end is not so clear. I can't get you, but maybe I'll call back.
Okay, now, Dominic, I'm asking, can you hear me now? Can you hear me, Dominic?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I'm asking, it's as though the electorate are quite scanty in this particular polling unit. Is it because voting just started?
Are you asking if voting has started?
I'm asking you, why is it that the place is a bit scanty?
Okay, yeah. The figures you got earlier was the early commencement, arrival of material. But I'm going to send you a clip now. You're going to see the state of the polling units now. It's not that scanty again. People are turning out in mass. You're going to get that very soon.
Okay.
I'll join you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dominic. Dominic is giving us live feed from Adamawa State, Yola specifically. We have that story. So we're taking you to Edo Central Senatorial District, polling unit in Egwari Primary School. INEC men and materials have arrived and short of confirmation of missing Labour Party on the result sheet. All right. That's the situation from Egwari Primary School in Ekpoma. We've just been told that INEC men and materials have arrived, but short of confirmation of missing Labour Party on the result sheet. Okay, so that's number 8 there. The Labour Party LP has been inscribed on the result sheet with a biro. I saw that memo yesterday night, which was trending on social media, that the result sheet. So I'm asking, the reason why this election was shifted was because we were told the Labour Party logo was not on the result sheet. So one would have expected that between that time and now, these are normally would have been corrected. But for what we have now on the result sheet, they had to manually correct it using a biro. I mean, we saw a memo by the REC Edo State requesting from the Labour Party chairman in Edo State that now this is the situation we have. We want to manually inscribe the Labour Party name on the result sheet if it was okay. And for what we gathered, the LP chairman in the state said it was okay. Well, we've not been able to independently verify that, but if what we're seeing in the result sheet now is anything to go by, it means that there was some sort of concurrence in doing that. So, big question, too many questions begging for answers. We shifted the election by a week with the hope that this anomaly would have been corrected, but it has remained the way it is. Prof, you want to say something on this?
Does it not signal levels of incompetence in whoever is managing whatever process that will lead to what we are going to get at the end of the day as those figures that will now send those representatives to the House of Assembly or send that gentleman or gentlelady to that house, government house as a governor of a state? It shows incompetence, because if they shifted elections, I will continue to insist that these are basic things that they are supposed to have checked. Somebody did the printing. After printing, was there no check on the ballot papers or the record sheets? If you go by any standard, what we have been shown there with that biro inscription at the end makes that document invalid, because it doesn't follow now the same trend, because every other one is printed. Then you are now using biro to now put in a party. Elections have been done a few weeks back. And these parties have been recognized, and pulling weight along. And at the end of the day, today, we are going to face another elections, and the result sheets are coming without a major party reflecting. It drags a lot of questions. And for me, I pull it around levels of incompetence in terms of management of whatever we are going to see at the end of the day.
Fantastic. Okay, let's just expand our conversation a little bit to the election proper. Today, governorship and state houses of assembly election in about 28 states. We also have that, in terms of the statistics, about 10 state governors are fighting to return. 18 are outgoing. And some of those 18 that are outgoing, they lost woefully and comprehensively in the presidential, in the National Assembly election. There's some of them that attempted to go to the Senate. They failed woefully. So it's a very tricky test in today's election. Let's get your take on this, Professor Ijewere.
Well, it's very interesting. You see, the 2023 election, the present election, I think we are enjoying it so far, if not for this beavers misbehavior. Programmed by some very big hands, you know, in the system.
Those are just insinuations. We cannot.
They
are insinuations. We cannot justify the program like this. Prof, just to stay on course. Governorship and state house of assembly election.
All right, if you say so.
Yes.
Well, I think it's an interesting development, but my worry, you see, we'll be tempted to still go back. My worry is that since the beavers did not really, did not meet the voters' expectations, I think today we're going to experience what we call an apathy. There's going to be an apathy because it's like, hey, we approach this 2023 election with joy, with all the enthusiasm, with all the hope. Nigeria has matured democratically. Therefore, let's go out there to exercise our franchise, you know. And that euphoria we expect to have transmit this time around manually to transmit to the governorship and House of Assembly election. For God's sake, it has been doused. Doused in the sense that Nigerians are no longer very, very comfortable with today's election. You may say I'm a prophet. I'm not a prophet of doom, because we are looking at the reality on ground and what people are saying, members of the public are saying.
You know, the election. So this election just started, Prof.
Yes.
It just started. Now this is.
I live among the people.
I know. It's just about the election is just about 1 hour old.
Yes.
So we'll still keep our fingers crossed.
Yes.
It's a wait and see game to see how the people will turn out in the election.
Yes.
Prof,
And how the components will work.
How it will work today.
How the components will work.
Yes.
But my prophecy is going to come to pass today, and I will remind you.
All right.
But however, one lesson that has been played on this election for 2023 is that the voters' interest in terms of building a nation, for the first time has changed, in the sense that quietly going out and trying to perform that civic rights that will bring in that change that they desire is coming to play. So for like those governors, unlike a city governor cannot contest an election
and lose.
It's not possible now.
It's not possible.
Even if it's the dullest person,
it's not possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
But you see the trend has changed. So which gives that indication that people are getting it right. And everybody is willing to contribute their own small quota to achieve that development that will bring a turnaround as a nation for Nigeria. So for those of them who contested and lost the election to Senate, they understand the game. And that is why nobody is celebrating and nobody is even crying. Because they are beginning to now see that those who are on the playing field are now beginning to understand some of the games that they don't see or understand before, in terms of the weight of what they can contribute without their voters' card that they are holding. So the voters determines what happens or how the government will go. So it's a signal to every politician that this time around there must be a redraft. If you think it's like as usual business like it was, no, it has changed. Then for every process that will lead to achieving that credible election, I have told you that it must take time. And we remember we mentioned about training of even staff to handle those electronic components. Because if, for example, you are holding a BVAS machine and that thing has a thick nylon film on top of it, and you are expecting it to read somebody's thumbprint, it does not work. Because, like I explained earlier, is that cellophane on top of it is made from plant, and plant is a living thing, so it has a DNA, and your fingerprint is based on DNA configuration. Okay. So at the time you match the two together, then there is confusion in the brain system, which is the memory of that BVAS. So it will not pop up the information you expected. And we also observe that when people cluster themselves around and you are holding that BVAS and it's seeing more than one person, there is conflict in the program, so it will not work. Yeah. So if all those ones are gradually now pushed to those who are providing those services, then you see that the performance in terms of the fear Prof is envisaging, in terms of whether the thing will work today or not, we can override some of those complexities in this system. Because one, they don't talk. So it is you who is holding it that will make it work. And if there is any problem internally in that system, it does not have the opportunity to tell you who is operating it that I am feeling this or I'm feeling that. But there is a manual to that system. Let there be proper teaching of those who are mounting the system on how to operate it. Then we will overcome some of those challenges. Then you will see an improvement in our electoral system, which will now drag back the interest of persons. Like he has mentioned, he's foreseeing a case where a lot of persons will not come today. Maybe because, fine, normally it's an election. Everybody has interest. Yeah. Everybody's interest may not be achieved the same time, the same way. You may be wanting your party to win, and in the last election, it did not perform. Yeah. But that, from my own, what knowledge they should be given is that you, as a voter, you have that opportunity to start building up a system that will work holistically, where everything will now look perfect. Yeah. Today's election, we are looking at House of Assembly, and we are looking at a governor to a state. Yeah. So if you look at the cadre of governance, in terms of coming down, I even prefer, and I take serious, governance at the lower level, which is close to the people, than at the top, which looks at structures and units, which is bigger than individuals who are there at the grassroots, at the background. Okay. So if we fail to recognize the importance of House of Assembly, and you have elected a president, the president does not work alone. The House of Assembly is a very important instrument in terms of making anything that will work at the federal level. So rather than going back, falling back and say, because my party did not win, because my candidate did not win, I am not going to vote today. I'm not interested. It's not good at all. Okay. It doesn't improve the system. So let every voter carry that zeal with which they went out in the last election to now make that impact too in terms of who and who sits down at the lower level in the state to determine the laws that will govern the state, which is the State House of Assembly. Then the man that will sit down there, that will implement that at that state level. Because when each state is performing very well, then it's easier for the federal to now coordinate. And we now see a Nigeria that is rebuilt, a Nigeria that is uniform, a Nigeria that is fine. Then everybody will start celebrating. So that is my own view, that everybody should overlook some of those challenges. And also let the game players have that courage to tell point blank to everybody, this is what we have. And this, for now, this is what it can do. In terms of the beavers, for example, because everybody's idea has been pushed to beavers. Nobody is saying any other thing at all. But they have forgotten too that as a voter, you never at any point saw logos of political parties on beavers. It's not there. So it does not function in terms of creating that opportunity for you to vote for your party or for your candidate.
Let's just pause for a moment as we try to connect with Efosa Wangwe, who is just on the verge of updating us what is happening with where it's covering. Quite a reasonable number of people in this particular polling unit. Efosa Wangwe, please update us here.
They're coming out.
Efosa, who is on the ground covering the governorship election, and we can't tell you for sure which of the police center is this. Looks like a pretty big one, and a reasonable number of people are out already to participate, to exercise their franchise. But we hope to link up with the Efosa in a moment to update us with the center and what is exact. To update us with the center and what is exact. To update us with the center on the ground, fully set for this. The conduct of this election in this area. Yeah.
Yeah, to add to what my colleagues have said, democracy evolves over a period of time. And I think in view of the, will I say economic and social embarrassment Nigerians went through, I think they became more sensitive that this time around, hey, we are going to be involved. We are going to be involved. Enough is enough. And that was what accounted for the surge in electorate coming out to cast their vote. Naturally, it's supposed to be a positive development. Now, when you talk about, and I think to a great extent, that was what affected the chances of governors who perhaps were interested in going to National Assembly, which is what I would call the mecca for retired governors, because it's like almost like it's like a tradition. The moment you are leaving, you serve your 8 years, the next point of abode is National Assembly. Yes. You see, and that goes
like a retirement thing.
Yes, retirement thing.
But that has changed now.
It has changed. It has changed in the sense that the youths who were to some extent docile, are now interested, are now coming out as to who is their leader, what is the character of the man, what is his personality, does he have a good antecedents and all that, and so it's no longer party per se, it's no longer party, but the personality of the individual and what he has done in the past or what he can do, that will please the people. And I think that was the barometer that instigated, individuals, the youths especially, to be interested in the election. And that is why you see recently, for the first time, governorship candidates, House of Assembly candidates were now going to the markets to talk to people. They were now going to spare part dealers all over the whole place where they can find, individuals they think can help their cause. They were now going to talk to people. Some were even going to churches and what have you. It shows the political environment, atmosphere has changed. And for God's sake, it's good for the political development of this country. We appreciate it. But you see, we're also saying the same token that INEC should try and encourage these enthusiastic voters. I think that is the point I'm making, and the point I'm still making. Encourage them, by doing what is right. So that these voters with that enthusiasm, they'll say, okay, we are making progress. And more people at the end of the day will come out and cast their vote. And it's supposed to be a positive development to our democratic experiment and experience. But the big question mark is that what is INEC encouraging the voters? I think it's a big question. INEC themselves have to answer.
Okay, well, we're expecting that in today's election, being the governorship and state houses of assembly election, INEC would do everything within its power to redeem its image. Assurances have been given in terms of expectations from Nigerians on what INEC has to offer, haven't been given the legal platform to reconfigure beavers and prepare them for this election. I think it was in Ondo State yesterday, I heard the resident electoral commissioner saying that all the beavers machine deployed to that state, they've all been reconfigured and they are ready for a very successful outing today. And I'm sure that that's replicated in all the states of the Federation where governorship and state house of assembly elections will be taking place. But we did say at the beginning that 28 states are having their governorship election. Having their governorship election as well as state houses of assembly election. But in all of these, 10 state governors are seeking to return to office. Explains why some have become salonists.
Oh, yes.
They become ushers.
Yes.
Some have even become spare parts dealers.
Yeah.
They go
you
to
can understand why. They go to everywhere. But that's understandable.
But it's a positive
it is.
Yeah.
It is because that realization that
yes.
you need to engage the people
Yes, you need to engage
is
the
there.
people.
Yes.
You need to be in the hearts and
You are
minds of
right.
the people.
You are right.
It's there.
It's there.
So it's a very slow process, as it were, but it's improving.
Yes.
It's actually getting better.
You are right.
It's getting
Because
better,
people are beginning to realize that it's not business as usual.
No.
It's not like you said a while ago that we saw incumbent governors losing the ambition of retiring in the Senate. The electors are telling them, look, the Senate is not where you go and retire.
Yes.
It's meant for people that are agile, that are vibrant, that are intelligent, and have the capacity to deliver. So this is what it is. But let's just quickly update you what's on the field. Fosa Wangwe actually sent us a live feed a while ago from Olua Primary School, just by Uselu Shell. I passed through that area this morning on my way to the studio. Heavy presence of security personnel. That should be a major coalition center, as it were. And that place is well secured with security agents there. The police, the army, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, they are fully mobilized and on the ground in that particular polling center. And just before there, by 5 Junction, you also have some security agents there. So when we have this kind of scenario, it gives that confidence and trust for the people to come out and cast their vote without any fear of intimidation or whatsoever. Yes. Going into today's election, about 24 women are participating as state governorship candidates of various political parties. I'm sure that's unprecedented in the history of Nigeria's election, as it were. Prof, you want to say something on that? Yes. Yes.
No, it's a positive development, you know, because gone are the days you say, well, my wife belongs to one of the rooms and all that and all that. You know, women have come of age, you know, because even if you look at our various campuses, you see the population of girls, you know, students, female students. It's on the high side, it's on the increase. And records have also shown that generally they are good managers in terms of ensuring that whatever policies, rules, and regulations that organization wants to be implemented, women are very good in ensuring that the right things, the right things are done. But that does not mean that you don't have a few. But in comparative terms, I think they are good leaders. And for our political development, I think it's something very, very positive. Because before now, women tend to shy away from politics. Some of the excuses they normally give, we can't be holding night meetings, and therefore the family may suffer in terms of taking care of the husband, children, and all that and all that. And I think things are changing for the better, because what Nigerians are really looking at today is not the sex that is involved, you know, but the ability to perform. Just like my colleague said, the ability to perform. I think that's what the modern, in quotes, modern Nigerians are looking at today. can you perform, can you deliver? And so if it's a woman that can deliver, why not? Let's vote her in.
Okay.
So I think it's something very, very positive, and I'm glad about the development.
Fantastic. Prof, yes.
In terms of governance, I don't even see the gender affecting your performance.
Okay.
If you are a woman and you are determined to carry out a process, you can do it, provided you make up your mind to do. Sometime in the past, there was a female vice chancellor in University of Benin, and she did perfectly well.
Yeah.
When she's working in the office, it doesn't take cognizance of anything sex. I'm a female, I can't do this, or I shouldn't do that. No. So if we make up our mind on that level, that what a man can do, a woman could also do, then things will work. Certain class of persons will not now be set aside, because you don't even know whether that desire change that everybody is yearning for, that is that lady that has been kept in one corner for long, who did not have that courage to challenge the muzzle work of the male counterpart to get that ticket to contest, has that component that will engineer that process to work better. So if they now start having that opportunity, a time will come where you will see even the male folks will start scrambling the way the women folks were scrambling before to get these tickets towards getting to positions to serve. So they should pick up that courage. Me, I'm challenging the women. Pick up, let them challenge themselves and let more women come up. Because even we as men, you know that sometimes when you are in an environment or a working environment and you discover that the office you are going to is headed by a woman, your feeling is always different. That they are always more stubborn and they can resist anything that is coming and they don't want it. They resist it even better.
They are men.
They are men. So the game of politics is changing.
Okay.
We are still seeing that change component in every sector. And it's only that change component that will make it better, that will drift it from where we are to a better future that we desire. I think it's good.